Hello, common people everywhere. Thank you for watching me, those watching me on YouTube, and also those listening to me on my new podcast. We're really starting to get some traction with the downloads, the views, the saves. Is that what they are? The reposts. I'm looking for some reposts and sharing, which would be great. And I'm looking to build the subscribers. That was the other thing. So make sure, because I forget to say it in every podcast and YouTube video, make sure you like and share. That does help the algorithm to make sure that my content is getting out there. And subscribe. I think there's a little bell. People always do this, and I don't know why, but those of you on YouTube right now, it's like, oh, go right here to subscribe. I guess I have to edit the video and put the subscribe button there. So, but right now, look, we're just working on trying to get the lighting correct and the timing correct and that kind of stuff. So thank you for hanging in there with me and starting this journey with me. I think we've done about 8 of these so far. The first several regarding laws of the universe that I think are really important and lay a foundation for what this channel is really about. I posted a video on YouTube. It's not on podcast, but I do encourage you to check it out on my YouTube channel for those listening, and that's on CommonGirl Creations as well. And it's all about calibrating up the emotional scale. So if you're somebody that has had issues with anxiety, triggers, they also call it spiraling, where it's just, something could be minor, could be pretty serious, but you start really just spiraling and triggering, and you're starting to get those, tight chest, upset stomach, panic, sweats, chills, just depends on who you are, and your makeup, how you react to certain things in your life. I encourage you to watch that over on YouTube, because I give you some really simple steps. I'm a little wordy, but that's okay, on how to calibrate that, and how to really become so good at it that when that does happen, that it doesn't last as long as it did the last time, and that you get so good at it that eventually it doesn't happen at all. Okay, so I give some truths about that, and also it's just something that's really worked in my life over the last, I think, out of every technique, and I'll share more as we dive deeper into these subjects. But I think that technique overall has been the game changer. But I'm also very visual, so check it out. CommonGirl Creations. Subscribe, like, share, and if you have a friend that you think might help, or a family member, go ahead and share that with them as well. By the way, I forgot to mention previously, I do have an email. I don't do email lists and all that kind of stuff, at least not yet. But if you do have a question on the information that I'm sharing, or a different point of view, I'm not saying disagreement, I'm going to yell at me about things. Not into that. This is a very respectful channel. We're all entitled to our own beliefs, thoughts, feelings. But if what I'm saying is triggering you, go check out the calibration technique, and that might fix your issue. But so far, it's been really great and supportive, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. But if you would like to contact me, I'm going to go back and put my email into the description. You can comment, or on my social media, you can send me a message. I do answer them, or you can send me an email. An email is simply commongirlcreations. Is that my email? Yes. Sorry. commongirlcreations@gmail.com. So, and just put in the subject line, where you heard me from: podcast, YouTube, social media, but you can email me, commongirlcreations@gmail.com. Now, one quick caveat. This is not a dating site. So, gentlemen or ladies, please keep it on topic. Share concerns. If you need some help or conversation, I don't charge for any of this. At least now I don't. But we'll see. I am working on some material that I think will help people a lot in their life at varying degrees. But if there's something that you need, please reach out, and I don't mind responding and helping you out, or providing a resource for you. So just reach out. Also, again, comment, like, share, and so on. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about which still has to do with the laws and manifestations and manifesting techniques. And I want to talk about faith versus fear. Each of us is behaving, reacting, living in one of these states every single day. And it can vary from different points of the day. It can vary as far as degrees of faith you're living in, degrees of fear that you may be living in. And I say living, but responding, natural state of being, when you're kind of sitting there, kind of making a plan for the day, making a plan for your life. Are you making those plans first by prefacing everything that could possibly go wrong? I would like a big house, but I can't afford it. I would like more kids, but I don't make enough money. I want this, but I don't. So if you are somebody that in the majority, it doesn't have to be an absolute, it doesn't have to be all the time. Although there are people who live in fear all the time. Paralyzes them, terrifies them. And most of us know people like this, maybe even in ourselves. But you'll know because it just seems like for every positive thing said, positive plan made, statement, observation, there's always some negative connotation. And it can actually come across rude, angry, really outspoken, inappropriate. But those are all really lower forms of energy that's coming out of that person or coming out of you. And that really often comes from a place of fear. And so I think understanding just that little point, and we'll dive more into this fear and how that manifests in your life in another video. But it's really important as we're becoming more aware of our life and aware of our wants and needs and are aware of our own desires and how to manifest that. One of the things that will prevent us from moving quickly into the life that we want and manifesting those things is not only living in our own fear, but judging other people for theirs. It's just not I know it's hard sometimes, especially when it's like a rude, SOB, just being an ass, that kind. I get it. Look, we're not perfect. Nobody is. But it does help. Oh, my earring fell out. This happens all the time. I have these little tiny earrings and my little tiny backs always come off because I also have little tiny ears, I think. I don't know. We're going to try it again. If not, if you watched a few videos ago, it happened then too, but my little backs fall off. Anyway, I digress. Don't get angry. It's just annoying. Anyway, but it will help you move through, even in that calibration technique, move through hanging on to that judgment for that other person. When you realize now what I do, the majority, not all the time, but the majority of the time is when somebody's being rude, short, just grumpy, just disrespectful. Not even to me. Maybe I'm just in an environment where people are like that. I think, aw, fear-based. And I don't say it out loud. I don't think so. But I do say it in my fear-based. And that allows me to give some, I guess the word would be empathy for that other person. And then I can just kind of move on from there rather than having it just kind of ruin my day as well. Because a lot of those people, and a lot of times when we are living in and making decisions in fear-based mentality, fear-based emotions, it's a good mirror because we're doing that to other people. We're dragging them into that. So again, there are going to be moments where we do that. There's going to be moments where we are fearful, uncertain, unsure. There's nothing wrong with that. And I do believe a lot of the information, coaching and stuff that is available, and I'm not, why I'm judging. I'm going to say I'm not judging, and then I'm getting ready to judge. Do you guys ever do that? So I'm going to judge based on my observation, at least for me, my experience. So from my experience, there's many, many, many coaches out there, information that are saying, like law of attraction, like attracts like. And it's not realistic to live in the wish fulfilled all day long, every day of your life. It's not realistic to live in a place of happiness and joy and oh, you're an ass today. Okay, I'm happy. Okay, you just hit my car. You're an ass. I'm happy. And you just create this false sense of self all day, every day. It's not possible the majority, for the majority of us. I get there are saints, there are angels, there are miraculous things and people that happen. But I'm saying that to be real, because I don't want you to be hard on yourself when you start this journey. And it is a journey. It's not a really one and done. It really should be, if it's speaking to you the way it should, or the way I hope it would, this one video or one podcast isn't the answer to everything. Oh, I listened to one podcast. My eyes are open. Joy, the trumpets have come out of the heavens, and like attracts like. I know how to manifest. I know how to live in faith. I know how to not judge people, even though I do it every day. It's not real. And so I think there's a balance of being real, truthful, optimistic, and still saying I believe in miracles, if that makes sense. But I think hope is really important. And it just seems like there's a lot of people that are going like this on the emotional scale, up and straight down, straight up and straight down. And it's okay to be like this. It's okay to be like this. You don't have to be. These peaks and valleys, look, are not good for you. The peak and valley of your emotion, not good for your heart, not good for your brain, not good for your physical health. It's just like, it's no different than, what's the best way to compare that? Probably with weight. There's a lot of, we're just going to take this earring out, by the way. We'll just take both of them out. They're so pretty though. Oh, maybe because I don't really have my backs in the correct way. Okay. I digress once again. But I think weight is a good comparison, because there are people who are at a higher weight than other people. And just because you're heavier doesn't mean you're less healthy than smaller people or skinnier people. Or I hate those terms, but those are recognizable and identifiable terms, so I'll use them for that purpose. And I know I'll probably get a lot of backlash. Oh, you can't be healthy and be, 300 pounds. Actually, I have a couple of friends that their blood work actually comes back better than mine. So it is possible. But for the most part, those people who live that lifestyle have been about the same most of their life. There haven't been peaks and valleys. And so when you can kind of maintain a steady weight, a steady diet, a steady schedule, you tend to be healthier overall, because you're not doing peaks and valleys. You're not doing scarcity and lack and then abundance. I mean, that throws you off a lot. And when you go really high emotions, then you come crashing down. Now, there's a lot of reasons that happens. But, I think just being really honest, saying that I am not talking about the law of attraction and the universe and living in faith and fear because I want you to live in faith. Let me change that. I want you to live in faith every single day. I do. I don't want you to live in fear ever. Not one moment of any day. I don't want to live in it. One moment of any day. What a waste of time. What a waste of energy. What a waste of just the beautiful person that you are. That's how strong I hate it. There's so many things I hate. I hate living in fear. I hate making fear-based decisions. I hate watching other people do it as well. But it happens. And without those fear-based emotions, without the negativity, without that, we would have a hard time figuring out kind of where we do want to be. There's times in our life where it's just nothing is going right. It just feels like nothing is going right. It just feels like the bills aren't paid. I can't get caught up with the kids. I can't get enough sleep. I can't do this. There are moments we've all felt like this. And those moments that you feel like that, what's happening is your inner self, your being, the God within you, the universe, is putting forth the opposite of that. It's the law of polarity. It's the laws of cause and effect. It's the Esther talks about shooting rockets of desire. Abraham talks about rockets of desire. So the positive in the negative, the positive in fear-based thinking, the positive in negative circumstances or situations, the positive in that is that you're shooting rockets. You're deciding, I don't want this. This is not working. This is not where I want to be. And so you're out of that, you're developing what it is you do want, where it is you do want to be, who it is you do want in your life. Whether you can think that clearly in the moment, maybe not. But as we calibrate ourselves back to a better feeling thought very quickly, you won't beat yourself up so much for making a fear-based decision, or it's not a bad decision. There's no good or bad decision. They're just decisions, and they're either based in fear or based in faith. And so I think it's really, really important for us to not be so hard on ourselves. And when we do slip back into an old behavior or a state of being that we've worked so hard to get out of or change, forgive yourself immediately, as fast as you can. Calibrate yourself out of that, because the faster you do it, that feeling of, and you remind yourself that you have to have faith. And I'm not talking about faith as in religion, okay? I'm talking faith in the universe, faith that the knowing that it is all working out in your favor. You are getting every single thing you desire. You are receiving every single thing that your vibration is putting out there. The challenge is it's working for what you want and what you don't want. There isn't a law of attraction works for, hey, I am just putting all the good stuff out and we're going to remove the negative. No. And that's why it's so important for you to live in the space and the state of faith more, abundantly more, hopefully, than the state of fear if you want your life to change. The more you are aware, the more you realize, the more you come to know, the more you identify with how you're feeling, the more you work on calibrating yourself into better feeling thoughts. This idea and this state, or the idea of living in faith, actually comes very naturally. At first, it's going to feel a little bit weird. You're going to have to do some things that to get you out of your old state into this, maybe a brand new state. Maybe it's a state you've never even recognized before. You've never had it. Maybe you're somebody who is aware of it, but just wants more of it. So there's, again, varying degrees of living in a state of faith and living in a state of fear. But what we need to understand, first and foremost, don't put yourself down. Don't feel as if you lost your footing or went backwards, 3 steps forward or 1 step forward, 3 steps back. If during your day you do fall off and live in that space of fear, negativity, or don't, because it's going to happen. Understand that the goal is bliss. The goal is enlightenment. The goal is just pure, unadulterated joy. But there needs to be joy in the journey. If you're holding off, like, I'm going to be happy once I get there, it's not going to work for you. That's fear. Faith is, I said it. I know it. I spoke it into existence. And it's mine. It's all mine. The money, the job, the relationship, my specific person, it's all mine. And you live in that knowing, that certainty that it's already yours. Now, there's a time gap between that initial desire and the receipt of it. And the number one question everybody asks, I used to ask it, when? So if I want this more than this will come tomorrow, and this will come next week, and then I'll do this in 6 months, and it's not the way it works. It will come as fast as the resistance you release. And what that means is we are the only ones in control of the timeline. And we can get a little deep on the quantum field and quantum physics and how time isn't real. It's not important. 3 minutes, 3 days, 3 months, 3 years. There is no time. It's just our perception. But that's a different video. So I keep leaning forward because I'm adjusting. So look. Sorry, podcasters, you can't see that. But check out my YouTube channel and you'll see me do my podcast. Anyway, it just doesn't work like that. There are some things you can manifest. I'm doing a whole series coming up on, the 3 days. 3 days, it's a 3-day technique. It works. And some very simple baby steps. But for some of us, it's not 3 days because we don't really believe it. You got to get to a point where you believe it before you have it. You believe it before you see it. You believe it before you touch it. That's faith. That's faith. That's also living in the now. That is also, living in the wish fulfilled. That is, it's all of those things. But when you live in, I may not have it now. Okay. I can't see it in my world. I can't touch it, feel it, smell it. But I know it is here. And it's time. It is here. And when you make a list of this is what I want, what I want, what I want. This is what I desire, what I desire, what I desire. And it really is, you're ticking the boxes. Okay, why am I freaking out about money? Why am I freaking out about a paycheck? Why am I I know I already have the money. I know it's already coming. I know that the cooperating components are coming together and I have it. So, okay, got that. So let's stop worrying about it, because worrying does what? Ask yourself that. Worrying about it does what? Does worrying about a problem really bring about a solution? 99.9% of the time, no. Living in faith, however, living with better feeling thoughts, living in the knowing, I got it. What that state of being does, it inspires ideas. It inspires thoughts. And I did a whole video and podcast on law of inspired action, and it's really powerful, and I want you to listen to it. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in some upcoming videos and audio, but it's really important to be kind to yourself We all live at some point in a state of fear, but it is the exact same energy, the exact same, takes the exact same amount of energy. Let me restate that, as living in faith. You got fear over here, you got faith over here. Same line, like polarity. Look left, you see fear. Look right, you see faith. And we only have so much time in a day, make believe time or not. We only have so many choices in a day that we're awake. Why not make the choice to live in faith? What's the worst that could happen? You actually get every single thing you desire? Okay. What's the worst about living in fear? Not only do you get nothing you desire, you get the exact opposite. And that's not what we want to do. That's not how we want to live. So we're going to live our best life. We're going to live it in faith, not fear. We're going to take that. If you could see a cup of or a bowl of energy, I'm holding my hands up right now, kind of moving my hands about like there's a little sphere in front of me, or a sphere. I don't even know how to say the word. And that ball is either faith or fear. I'm going to use it for faith or fear. What are you going to do? Faith every time. Forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. Talk well to yourself. And if you can't, calibrate yourself out of it. Thanks for following, and we'll see you next time.